I suppose, look, my concern would be that it could have unintended consequences of having students experience a level of stress of assessments over 2 years. The fact that they're now going to be sitting the paper 1 in both subjects in 5th year. And as I say, I do genuinely feel that students who may want to go to the Gaeltacht in 5th year at that summer, at the end of that year, they are being put at a disadvantage because obviously they won't have their stint done in the Gaeltacht, which would stand to them when they come to sit the Irish paper 1 in Leaving Cert as it currently is. I do understand the principle and the rationale of spreading the assessments, but I would be concerned that it will have the unintended consequences of having the stress associated with assessments now over a longer period, and also I suppose the fact that the students need to be prepared more quickly. That it will also maybe cause a lot of difficulty and challenges for teachers as well as the students themselves.
I suppose just in terms of visits to the Gaeltacht and that, the orals will still take place in 6th year. They will take place, likely take place over the Easter period, as we've seen in the last number of years, and that obviously will be supported, the orals are supported by, whatever additional trips that students might wish to take in terms of a trip to the Gaeltacht, or indeed the work that they do in school, or however they, so from that point of view, it will still take place in 6th year. I think, and I absolutely, accept your bona fides and the point that you're raising here, but I do think, from the students' point of view, and they are clear that having to face everything in one day is an extraordinary burden and an extraordinary pressure. Having the opportunity to do it over 2 years lessens that burden. And again, as I say to you, we see that as best practice in other jurisdictions. We see it work well from the LCA point of view. And, it is so as to ensure that students don't feel the high stake of everything depending at one moment, one time in June. Far, far too high stake for them. And you would know, even from general conversation in general society, there has been a consistent understanding in society that far, far too much pressure is being placed on our senior cycle students in June. It's a very hyped up exam. It's a very, I suppose, so much discussion and conversation around it. I think students deserve a more structured, more even approach over 2 years. It will give them more opportunity and more accommodation to showcase their talents better. That's the motivation, the well-being and student-centred approach for the students.